It's happening again. Another day, another bullpen implosion, and another night where we give up multiple leads. Nobody knows where the front office is, and fans have officially given up on the 2025 season. That's exactly what we're going over only here on Mets Digest. I'm your host today, Mike Duda. We're going to talk about another disastrous night, but first we got to talk about some subscribers, and that being the fact that 69.4% of you that watch these videos aren't one. So please do me a favor, just a favor here at Mets Digest, and hit that free subscribe button. That way we can bring content to you about the amazing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into yet another terrible night. And we're actually going to start it off with some positives because yes, somehow, some way, there are some positives, which I think make these losses even more brutal and even worse. So we're going to start it off. Ronnie Mauricio claimed a franchise record last night by stealing his fourth base of the season. 37 consecutive stolen bases without being caught stealing. That is a New York Met franchise record, the most ever, and it is only 3 shy of the MLB record all-time of 40. So thank you to our good friend Antoine Richardson. He is awesome. We love our first base coach. That was in the bottom of the fourth, so great news on the base paths and great news on the offensive end. Look at this cool stat. The Mets have been hammering the fastball. They did last series against the Braves at home, and they did so as well off Luis Castillo, who didn't last too long and gave up 6 earned runs. With that, it gives me a chance to mention Francisco Alvarez, a 970 OPS since returning from the minor leagues. 18 games played, and that's even going to go up because he hit a 3-run homer last night. It was great on the offensive end. Everything was awesome. I mean, look at this. He had a great night. He hit a 3-run homer, 4 RBIs. Francisco Lindor with 3 hits and 4 RBIs. Juan Soto had a solo shot. Everything was looking fantastic. You would think the Mets won this game based on the offense, right? Spoiler alert, nope, they didn't. Shocker. Welcome to New York. Staying with the positives, however, let's look at how good the Mets have been with 2 outs in addition to 2 strikes. Look at this. This was a stat that they put up in the bottom of the fourth after Brandon Nimmo had a base hit with 2 outs. The Mets are consistently getting 2-out hits over this homestand. A .528 average, 9 homers, and 21 runs at that point. The numbers have gone down a little bit. Batting average is down to a .475 because the Mets just went completely dead on offense starting in the 5th inning, with the exception of that 8th inning where Francisco Alvarez hit the home run. But a .523 OBP, that's slugging with 2 outs over the last 4 games, 1.034. Yes, the slugging percentage is above 500, making it a 1.557 OPS with 2 outs over the Mets' last 4 games, aka this homestand. You would think with offense that is going absurd, with 37 runs scored, that has to mean they're winning ball games, right? Well, once again, spoiler alert, they are simply not. Ronnie Mauricio had 2 hits last night when it came to 2 strikes, moving into the 2-strike approach. Francisco Lindor had 3, an RBI single, a solo shot, and a 2-run shot. Not only are they hitting with 2 outs, they're hitting with 2 strikes. Last night, with 2 strikes, they were 6 of 22. That is a .272 average, which is pretty solid for when you have 2 strikes against you. .545 slugging, .817 OPS, 2 homers, and 5 RBIs. 3 consecutive 2-out, 2-strike hits in the bottom of the second. Francisco Alvarez, Ronnie Mauricio, and then Francisco Lindor. And last bit of positivity that we're going to go over today is they're still half a game up in the wild card. Somehow, some way, as you see on the bottom of your screen, it'll come up eventually. Somehow the Brewers won last night. They were down 8-1 in the bottom of the second and came back to win 10-8. Milwaukee is red hot, 13 consecutive wins, and that's what we need right now. We don't care about the Brewers. They can go get the number 1 seed in the National League. They could easily be the best team in baseball. I don't really care. We need them to win the next 2 games if you want to have some hope about this season moving forward. If you think somehow, some way the Mets will turn it around, then you got to root for the Brewers, and a great win last night for Milwaukee, meaning Cincinnati lost, and they are still half a game out of the Mets. 1 game out in the loss column as well as we get near the end of the season, 122 games in for the Mets. It's very important to look at the loss column because you can win a baseball game. If you have another baseball game to play, you can win it. You can't take away a loss. So the loss column, very important. Mets are 1 game up in the loss column, half a game up in the wild card. But again, given all of these great stats, look at this offense last night. They scored 9 runs, 12 hits. You would think that they're winning these baseball games, right? Well, welcome to Metland. They are simply not winning these games. We said this. 37 runs in 5 games. How do you score 37 runs in 5 games and go 1-4? In fact, it's even better because they lost to Milwaukee. They only scored 4 runs in that last loss against Milwaukee, meaning that they have scored 33 runs in 4 games and are 1-3. That is pathetic. That is absolutely awful. Of course they didn't win the baseball game. Why would they do that? They lost 11-9. Another bullpen implosion. This time it came in the 7th inning from Ryan Helsley. We talked about this in the last video. Go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. Helsley has been a disaster since coming over to Flushing. Tyler Rogers hasn't even been much better. Cedric Mullins hasn't been great. In fact, I was going over this earlier. I was just discussing it in a conversation of how bad the New York Mets trade deadlines have been under David Stearns. He's really gone out and made one good acquisition, and that was Gregory Soto this trade deadline. If you want to say Jesse Winker was an okay acquisition, fine. Maybe Phil Maton last year was decent, but outside of that, he's gotten Jesse Winker, who's been hurt. I know I like Winker myself, and he's been okay, but he's mainly been hurt, not great. Tyler Zuber, Huascar Brazaban, who's currently in AAA, Paul Blackburn, who just got DFA'd. We'll talk about that in my next video. That was in 2024. Not a good deadline for Stearns. He got Helsley, who's been a disaster. He's gotten Rogers, who hasn't been great. He got Cedric Mullins, who's been okay at best. Overall, David Stearns has had some really poor trade deadlines with the New York Mets. His job should be in jeopardy. I mean, it's not. Neither is Carlos Mendoza's. We'll talk about his post game because, shocker, shocker, nothing changed. But these guys, their jobs, they have to be on the line. There's got to be some pressure, some reason to go win a baseball game, but it simply just looks like that isn't the case, as the offense has been really, really bad. When you look at that first losing stretch, the 14 out of 17 games, it was mainly the offense, and now it's the pitching. In the last 14 out of 16 games that they've dropped, it's mainly been the pitching, particularly in the last 4 games on this homestand. Sean Manaea, Carlos Mendoza said he battled last night. He did. He threw 86 pitches, 4 earned runs over 5 innings. That is not good at all. I mean, if you're going to say that that's good, that's not something that you should be saying. That's still a 7.20 ERA. That's very bad. Tyler Rogers, of course, gave up a run in an inning. And when you look at the box score, you could tell that that run from Rogers was critical. It was a 6-4 game in the 6th. Rogers comes in. You want a 1-2-3 inning, but nope, he gives up a run. That makes it 6-5. Then Helsley comes in, blows it. He's been a disaster, made it 7-6. And Brooks Raley could not do anything cleanup duty-wise. Gives up 3 runs of his own over a third of an inning, making that 10 runs total, making it a 10-6 deficit. And then Ryan Stanek somehow, some way, comes in, cleans it up on 4 pitches. Congratulations to Stanek. I mean, he's been terrible all year, so that's a surprise. And then Frankie Montas, of course, comes in. He gives up a run on a home run, or rather on 2 back-to-back doubles. So really, I mean, just the pitching has been pathetic of late, and it all continues. Look at this. Over their last 6 games, the Mets have blown leads of 6 runs, 5 runs, 4 runs, 2 runs, and 1 run 5 times. Well, you can make that 1 run 6 times and that 2 run twice over the last 7 games because they, again, blew more leads last night. They had a 3-2 lead in the second, blew it. And then, for a couple of innings in a row, they had a 6-4 lead, then it became a 6-5 lead, and then, of course, they blew it. It's not worth going over the spiel that we're going to see from Carlos Mendoza, but the one thing that I want to point out is he always says that the Mets right now are on a bad stretch. Really? This is not a stretch. Since June 13th, it is now August 16th. That is not a stretch whatsoever. They're 19-33, make that 19-34, tied for the 3rd lowest win percentage in Major League Baseball. 19 blown lead losses, make that 20. Starters are down to 232 2/3 innings pitched over that stretch, worse than the MLB. Bullpen, 224 innings pitched. That's the 2nd most in Major League Baseball. David Peterson, 5.7 innings per start. Rest of the rotation, 4.2. I mean, we know the themes. I bring this up because it's ridiculous for Carlos Mendoza to continually say that this is just a stretch. In fact, since the 13th, that winning percentage, 358. Again, tied for 28th in the MLB, 3rd lowest in baseball. 4.25 runs per game. That's 22nd baseball, meaning only 8 teams or worse. 5.34 starter ERA. That's 26th, meaning only 4 teams or worse. 494 reliever ERA. That's 28th, meaning only 2 teams are worse. This is not good whatsoever. Again, I'm not going to waste the time, not going to waste your time to go over Carlos Mendoza's speech because he does the same scripted thing every single time. Got to look at the positives. We fought, lots of talent. We got to compete, got to get a job done. He was asked a tough question. He was asked, hey, is there going to be a meeting anytime soon? He says his same scripted response that he's already said a couple of times. We have meetings every day. He tries to dance around the question. Everyone knows, including Carlos Mendoza, what is truly being asked, aka, are you going to have a closed door meeting? Are you going to throw a chair? Are you going to scream? Is someone going to do something? And he finds his way to dance around the question, and of course the answer is going to be no. It continues to be a disaster. I mean, hey, I'm here, I'm wearing my Met shirt, I'm ready to go out today and go watch Nolan McLean pitch. Can't wait for it. It's going to be awesome. But again, are they going to win? Probably not. McLean will probably shove and they'll lose, I don't know, 2-1, something along those lines. It's just been a simple disaster here in Flushing, and it's not going to get any better until something is done. So go down there in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is it time to just get rid of everyone? I say I'm done. Get rid of everyone in the front office. Stearns, Mendoza, Hefner, Barnes, Chavez. Don't care if they all go. The only 2 guys that I want to keep on this coaching staff are bench coach John Gibbons and first base coach Antoine Richardson. Outside of that, I'm not losing sleep if any of these guys are gone. I mean, David Stearns, amidst all this, is in Japan right now going to look at a prospect that could even be the replacement to Pete Alonso. Hey, Alonso is the best thing that this New York Met franchise has right now. Yes, better than Juan Soto, who you're paying the largest contract in sports history to. Why don't you just worry about keeping Alonso first and then go out and get the Japanese star? It's all ridiculous. It's all a mess. I'm going to continue to root for them. I'll continue to watch and torture myself, and you guys will probably do the same as well. So let's just hope that they win a ball game tonight, but it just looks worse and worse every night. Again, I can title these videos the same thing every day. This is a disaster. This is rock bottom. But I got to change up the titles because every single day seems to be rock bottom. And when is rock bottom? When are they finally going to go up in the standings or finally win some ball games? Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want anyone in the front office to get fired, to lose their job. Give me your thoughts down below if you agree with me or disagree. Unfortunately, that's all the time I have for you in this one. Thank you so much, always, for watching, and let's go Mets.